Okay, it is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, because there's probably a million movies titled The Covenant. So this story is about a U.S. soldier working with an Afghani soldier who is a U.S. interpreter. Well, he's an Afghani interpreter. And his job is to help the U.S. forces find IEDs from the Taliban. And so in here they find he doesn't trust them, but they find the IEDs. Shit goes sour. You know,
he's injured.
He gets super injured. The U.S. soldier gets super injured, and the Afghani soldier saves him and goes to hell and back
to save
him. He's killing his not his own countrymen, I guess you would say. They were Taliban though. And then Jake Gyllenhaal wakes up in the United States, and he has so much guilt, and he said he had a hook on him. It's the Covenant. He needs to go save his family, and that's pretty much the whole story, is Jake needs to get him back. What did you think about this?
His latest movies have been kind of American-based and American-themed. This one's definitely by far the most American, and the last couple were weird because his dialogue is meant for British wit, and dialogue's super fast and witty, and it works well. And in here you can kind of hear his dialogue being American, and it throws you off a little bit, but by far the best one he's done so far lately. And he really capitalizes on this bond between natives who are helping American soldiers get the Taliban terrorists and stuff like that, and then how we treat them after they help us is also kind of beautifully encapsulated in
the
here.
Point of this movie. So this is definitely not it doesn't feel like a Guy Ritchie movie. Pretty much, it doesn't his good old fast quip, like you said, English quip comedy kind of. There's none of that in here because it's a totally different story, and you wouldn't even know that Guy Ritchie even did this movie. In my opinion, you can
pick up some things
like
here
and
the way they talk, the lingo. He kind of literally spells it out for you what they're talking about, what they're saying. That's something he do. It's a little stylish. Also, the music and the tone.
The music's very
when
good.
Things happen, the music and the sound is very targeted and manipulated in a very good way. And that's definitely Guy Ritchie. He's good with that kind of stuff.
Right. But it is a different tone in general. It's still good. It's a very good movie. It's just, it doesn't seem like a normal Guy Ritchie. But I am glad to see that Guy Ritchie is kind of stepping out of what he's used to, and he's still excelling in it. And I guess the whole point of this movie is kind of what happened recently with the United States pulling Afghanistan after the 20-year campaign, it said. Mm-hmm. And we kind of left a lot of people, probably all of them, over there to fend for themselves against the Taliban, who took it over in no time at all.
Immediately.
So this story is pretty much trying to show that the Afghani soldiers that helped us in Afghanistan deserve their debts to be paid. And here he literally says, pay your fucking debts. And we're funneled that through a character called Ahmed, who really, not even shitting you, carried this man on a barrel, on a little sled. He was driving. He was killing the Taliban left and right. As Jake Gyllenhaal was passed out, he carried him for miles. And we had this moment where he was carrying him up a hill, and how his wagon got stuck, like one of his wheels got stuck, and then he was contemplating just leaving him there. You can tell he was looking and he was thinking about leaving the soldier there, but he didn't. And then afterwards, he became super famous among the Afghani people. So then the Taliban put him on the 10 most wanted people. Mm-hmm. Put a price on his head, so he went into hiding. So now Jake Gyllenhaal really is having a super hard time trying to find him.
He was flagged in the States because he was getting on the radar because he was trying so hard to get the visas the legitimate way. And the legitimate way, as they showed very accurately in the movie, is very tedious. It takes way too damn long.
Yeah.
They overdo it. Sometimes they want background checks on infants that haven't done anything except shit their pants. And you can see the aggravation in Jake Gyllenhaal's character, and that was great. So, and he started threatening these callers, so the military did flag him, so they had to change his name. I think for the American side of it, also to keep them under wraps just in case intelligence gets out on the Afghani side.
The pacing in this movie was great. To me. I was never really bored. There was a good chunk towards, I guess, the transition from the first to second act. Probably the good first part of the second act, where it's nothing but tension and action, where both John and Ahmed are running from the Afghanistan, or the Taliban, and they're just running. It was like 3 days, right? Like, we were like, we'll camp here, we'll camp there.
It seemed like more than 3 days.
Yeah,
honestly.
and it was just tension real, because, you know, you're super quiet, and he's walking down the road, and then he hears the radio go off, and they're in clear line of sight of one another. But no one's made eye contact except for Jake, and Jake's trying to back up, and then it's too late, and then they're on the run again.
Kills.
Yeah. Yeah, so that
out
was
of nowhere kills.
That was really good.
Just sneaking by under the radar, giving the Taliban a ride while Jake's wounded in the back, covered up by carpets.
Right.
So it's a nail biter for sure.
Yeah, there's a part in here where the Taliban's looking, or just kind of, you know, search and seizure or whatever in this village. And Ahmed has his newborn baby and his wife, and it's like a one take to where he has a buddy in his ear telling him they're in the back door, 12 feet right there. He comes in, takes them out. They're at the front door. They're inside. They go down the street. Here comes Taliban, take cover, kind of thing. Tension, 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 tension. There's a lot of freaking tension in here, and it's really scary. And they really tell you how the Taliban network really worked. Is they really did have like a headquarters, and then they would branch out here and there, and
they also got this psycho list of people that they have a wanted list for people who help the Americans, which is true, and they watch American movies like this too, and then they add people to the list because they get new names, new people, interpreters, people who helped, intel, people who were flipped, everything like that. And what was actually great at the end of the movie is they actually just showed a bunch of random interpreters, and some they had to blur out because they know the Taliban is going to watch this movie, like they watch every single movie that they're involved in, to add a name or two that are in it. So some had to have, you know, the little bar over their eyes, or they needed their
face blurred out or whatever.
Or if they weren't, hopefully they were already safe. But it also said that we didn't really save too many interpreters, considering 20 years of interpreters that we used and their families.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that video with all of them hanging on to the plane and falling off.
Mm-hmm. So got ran desperate over by them too.
Super desperate, and it's sad. And that was the point of this movie, is to point out how you kind of left them. You screwed them. You used them and abused them, and you know the American soldiers weren't down for that, because they grew attached to these freaking people. They put their lives on the line more than the soldiers who were there, the American soldiers who were there. Jake Gyllenhaal did do good in here, but the guy who played Ahmed, Dar Salam, he stole it, and you know he like when he's screaming it with, you know, trying to get that anger power to put, like, you know,
push that dolly or
whatever up the hill or whatever, and
wagon.
You know, thinking about leaving him. He's got his kids. He's got everything to lose. You know, and he's also got a sassy attitude towards even the Americans. You know.
Yeah, because he knows he's under their thumb, but he can't help but tell them
the truth,
and also priorities. You know, things that's gonna help them.
Yeah,
Jake in the beginning sees it as you know, insubordination kind of,
and that he can't really trust him because he doesn't know him yet.
Yeah. But then he follows through with it, so he starts to trust him more and more.
He lost a brother or a son to the Taliban. I forgot what it was. So now his number one priority is getting his family out of the area. And yeah, the dude killed it. He was by far the best part of the movie. This is definitely not one of those movies that church up, you know, America's involvement in Afghanistan and Iraq and just the Middle East in general. This is more of pointing out what we need to do to help the people who helped us against, you know, pretty much their own people.
Yeah, they don't like him either. They don't like their right-wing crazy mob over there.
Right, exactly. Like they don't like their extremists either, and they helped us for that reason. And we helped them out for 20 years, you know, promising visas, and then when we left them to
They immediately took back over again.
Yeah.
So we fought them for 20 years just to lose.
You can't imagine, and the end credits said that over 300 of those Afghanis and their families have been killed already, like confirmed, and thousands are in hiding. So I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, these lists are still around. I mean, that whole country is completely under control of the Taliban.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't help them anymore.
No.
so
it's
very heart wrenching.
Yeah,
and,
that is the
tragic.
Yeah, that's the tragic thing about this movie.
Maybe you shouldn't have went in.
Is that you feel good about the movie, and the movie is fake. It's not based on anything. I guess you could say
loosely
it is.
Based
off
of.
But the real story is not, you don't have Jake Gyllenhaal going in to the fire and pulling him out. You don't have that. So that's the heartbreaking part about this movie. And it drags on you. It probably will lean on you for a bit. But all right, that was our review with Guy Ritchie's Covenant, and we will see you guys in the next one.
And we didn't grade it.
Okay. So what
A.
A. Yeah.
Probably
I agree
A
with
plus,
A.
Honestly.
Yeah,
it's probably close enough to be an A plus. I mean,
yeah.
99%.
Very good. Very good. Very solid. Like we said, pacing great. Everyone did their job. I loved it. But all right, that was our review for Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And we'll see you guys in the next one.